Hi everyone, it's Nat here. Hope you're all doing well. I am on because I am joining in on a collaboration. Now the co-hosts for this one are Sherry from Turquoise Dreaming and Susan from Susan Hiles Art. So I'll link them down below so you can check them out. Now they're doing a collaboration that is hashtag show us how you organise. So I thought I'd jump in on this one simply because at the moment I am trying to organise all the little bits and pieces everywhere in my craft room, which is going to take me forever, and I thought that this might prompt me to get some of it done. So if you want to join in on this one, it's running for a couple of weeks and there are prompts for each week. They say to take us along with you as you organise an area of your craft space or share with us how you currently organise an area in your craft space. So they announced it on August the 5th, so you can go to their channels and check out their announcement videos for more information. Now the prompts start on the 12th, which was for me yesterday, and they're on Fridays, but because I do my book hauls on Fridays, I thought I'd start on the Saturday. They're quite easy going, and so I thought they won't mind. Also, I think I'll have to do more than one video. So I'm not sure how many videos, but you'll probably see a few each week that this collaboration is running. So the prompts for the 12th are paper ephemera stickers. For the 19th, it's ink, adhesive and tools. And for the 26th, it's lace, ribbon, buttons and fabric. Now, as I said, they're quite easy going, and they have mentioned that we can change the prompts around for different weeks if we need to suit ourselves. That's fine. And it says to post a video on your YouTube for any or all of the days listed above. But as I said, I'll probably do a few videos each week after the prompt date. Yeah, just because I've got so much to do and I think it will help me get it done. They ask that you be a subscriber of both their channels, which is a polite thing to do when you're doing a collaboration, and link their channels in your description box so that others can find and see about the collaboration as well. And let one of them know, and that way they can link your channel in their description box. So, and then you use the hashtag show us how you organise in your description box or title as well, so that it can be found easily. So I thought today, in the last week or two, I've shown you some bits and pieces I've got from the secondhand shop that I wanted to organise with, and I thought it'd be great to show you what I'm actually using them for. So I thought I'd start with these photo albums. You might remember if you watched my hauls that I grabbed one and then I realised I was going to need more. So I grabbed, I think it was another 4 more. But in the end, it only cost, I think, all up $17 for the 5 or whatever of these that I grabbed, which I think is great value, a lot cheaper than buying them new. And most of them were new. They were still in their plastic. So that was great. And then I did find, I already had 1 or 2 here, so I've used them as well, and a couple of small ones that I already had stuff in. So I'll show you what I've been doing with those. So I have a whole lot of these old vintage / antique albums that were full of all sorts of goodies. Now, I love these albums, but they're so old that this one especially is disintegrating. So this is a postcard album. Oh, was it this one that was disintegrating? It's getting there. You can see it's come apart there. I must have another one that looks exactly the same that has come completely apart. And as you try and get the postcards in and out, it rips the little corner pieces. Also, the corner pieces are indenting the postcards. Another thing is they sit in these really nicely and they're nicely organised, but they still gather dust. And I thought that the photo albums that I got would prevent the dust gathering on the postcards, and also they have lovely memo spots so that you can write information about your postcards and that as well. So I went along the other night and took all the postcards out of my albums, and I had loose ones here, there and everywhere, and they weren't organised into themes or anything, and I was finding it hard to find bits and pieces that I wanted. So I really had to organise them. I get these things, and because I love them so much, I just hoard them and I don't touch them. And I thought it's time to get them organised so that I can start using them the way that I want to use them. So these are, I did get a set of photos from, I think it was a German family. They're old photos, and some of the albums. Some of them were stuck in like the postcards, so they were easy to get out. Some of them were stuck in with sticky tape, and it was the stickiest sticky tape I'd ever seen, and some of them are glued in. Now, I did think maybe I could steam them and that, but I think that would ruin the photos themselves. So I tried to get one or two off, and they just broke. They're so brittle. So I thought I'd pass the job on to my son the other night. So he sat there all night trying to prise some of them off. And then we thought, no, what we should do is scan one side and then try and prise them off. That way, if we break them, at least we've got a copy. And then with the other side, I could just cut around them to cut them out. Then after doing that for a while, he realised with some of these pages that he could separate the fibres in the paper and that way get both sides that we could cut out. So he spent a lot of time doing that for me the other night and getting a whole lot out. And as you can see, we've still got, I think these are the ones he did one side of, and now I've got to go and cut the rest out. We do still have more to do of that. So that was another job we had to do. But as you can see, I had a few. This is another one we still have to do that they're stuck in, that I will scan first. I love this album, so I want to, with the ones that we've taken the postcards and photos out, I will still be keeping those because the inner pages I want to use for bits and pieces for vintage journals in the future. I think they'll look great, and I'd love to reuse the covers as well. But look at some of the photos. They're just awesome. So still got a bit of work to get some of the photos out, but we do have most of them out. So now I will show you what I ended up doing with them all. I didn't realise I had so many. That was another reason to get this done. Also, my son was cutting the pages out and he went to chuck the bits of paper out, and I'm like, no, bring them here. And I rifled through, and most of it was rubbish because he had split the pages and they were all fibrous and that, so he ditched that. But I made him go to the bin and get these back out for me. I think they look awesome, so I'll definitely be using those. Most of the photos are albums that I bought have 3 pockets in each page, which is great. They're quite big, so I had to find a spot in my living room / dining room to store these. I thought that would be the best place for them because that's where I have my scanner, and that's probably where I'll keep this sort of thing. I don't want to keep it in my craft room. I have enough stuff in here. So as you can see, this one I've got the photos in. Now, I haven't sorted these much, although I did take photos of the pages they were on if they had writing on, so that if I want to, I can go back and have a look at what it said in case I want to note where it was or who it was or something. And that's where I love these memo bits in these albums, so I think they'll be very helpful for my organisation. Some of the photos aren't the best theme or quality, so some of them might end up being used or going out. But that sort of sorting is for another day because it's hard for me to get rid of anything and I need to be in the mood. So I love this. They're sticking their heads down in a well or something. So there's some cool photos. So I've got a bunch of those in that album. So much easier to flick through these and see what we've got without actually putting my fingers on the photos. And there's still a fair bit of room there to add to if I need to. And then at the back there were some oversized postcards that didn't want to fit in a lot of the other journals. Now, this isn't my final sort because I think I'll be changing things around a bit, but this is good enough so I can see what I've got now and sort it better when I have a bit more time. So that's that album. Then I have this one, which is getting way too full. I think they've got too many pages in here, which is a bit annoying because they should only put the amount of pages in that if you fill them all up, it's still going to sit nicely. So I'll probably take some of these empty pages out and use them elsewhere. But this one has vintage / antique. It's mainly antique postcards, and they're European. Most of these are European artworks, I think. But they're beautiful and the writing's beautiful on them. Unfortunately, on the back of some of these, some are used, but most are not, I think, with these. But someone's gone and written in pen on them, which is really annoying. But still. They're still beautiful on the front and that. Some have been written on the front, but a lot of that's antique writing. So yeah, gorgeous postcards in there. A lot better way of storing them though. As I said, I love the old albums, but they're collecting so much dust and falling to bits and ruining the postcards. I think it's possibly light damage on these that makes them silver around the edges. I'm not sure, but I think they'll be a lot better kept in these albums. And then we've got buildings. So most of these I was going to sort in, like have an album that was buildings and an album that was landscapes, but a lot of these came together, so I've left them together for the moment, just to see what I've got before I go mixing them up. So that's the album. I think that's all I've got in that one. Yep. I've got this blue one. This has your beautiful ladies and boho ladies, so I've got postcards. I just love these. And then I left a few pages in case I find any more, and I have photos. So again, just a lot better to store them in here and be able to write the notes. I write in pencil so I can rub it out if I move them around. And then I have children. Sort of all of the same vein. And then at the back there were birthday postcards, but they have similar style of pictures on them, so I've put them in here as well. And then this is one that I found in my, it was funny because I had all of those albums and I was filling them all up and I was like, oh, I reckon I need just one more. I was thinking, oh, I don't want to have to go down the shops to find another one because I grabbed all the ones that were in that shop. So yeah, I looked in my bedroom and lo and behold, there was this one sitting there already empty for me. So that was great. This again has European, and I think they're bigger, yeah. So these are bigger ones that wouldn't fit in some of the albums, and they're of a European holiday that someone went on. So really cool. I think some of these would be the 50s. Some of them might be earlier. That's where I have to look at the photos of the writing that was on the pages with them so I can identify some of the bits and pieces. Beautiful old buildings. Lovely that they're European themed as well. So that's it. So I've still got a fair bit of room here, but I preferred not to fill them up completely because when I do that, you find one that goes with them and it, you know, you've got to move things around and that. So now it may seem like a lot as well, which it sort of is, but as I use them and that, of course, I'll have less. And these albums are so useful to store other ephemera in as well, which I'll discuss afterwards. So this one was a European trip as well. I've kept all these ones together because it'll be interesting to see all the different places that these people went to, and they're different than the ones I showed before, and they have dates on the front of them, which is again unfortunate that they've written on them, but it does enable me to date them. The dates are 1917 for that one, 1918, 1919, so around that era. So definitely, and mostly antiques. Love these ones. And again, some are written on and some are not, which is great. So that album's nearly full. So the most I've got is your landscapes and buildings. Now in this one I have more of your beautiful people, but at the start here I did romance and wedding. postcards and pictures. This is beautiful French one. And in a bit I've got, it's sort of more family, so they're not all the beautiful ladies with their makeup and that, just more family based. And that has some photos in it as well, which might end up in my photo album. Some of these are the ones that were ripped that we were trying to get out, which is unfortunate, but I'll still use those. I think they will look great on tags and that sort of thing with a bit of collaging. This is miscellaneous and men, I think. These look like photographs, but they're actually postcards. So leave a bit of space in between the things so I can add to them. And then at the back here we've got animals, which I don't have a lot of. And then I have two smaller albums. These are ones I already had here, but I was able to take the ones that were in here out and put them in the bigger albums. So this has more of your greeting card style of postcard and greeting card. Got these beautiful ones. So this is all birthday. As I said, I kept the birthday ones with the people on in the other album because they had cards that were of the same vein as the photos and that. And then I thought I'd put all this style together as well. So that's all birthday. And then I decided, why not put my vintage and antique actual greeting cards in here as well. Because I just had them in a pile in a plastic container, and when I wanted to look through them I'd have to touch them all, and I thought it's better if I don't go touching them all every time I want to look through them. So this way I can have my notes and have a look and see how beautiful they are without having to touch them. So these are all birthday greeting cards. So obviously just the little ones, but in, you know, back the antique ones and that usually tend to be this smaller size. So I've just got a few of those in there. I'm not sure if I have more around the place, hence another reason why I left so much space in between. Now these are similar, but they're French ones, and they've been written on with French writing, which is really cool. So I thought I would keep them all separate as well in their own category, so it's easy to find. Then we've got, I think this is sort of like miscellaneous greeting cards. I'm not sure if they're birthday, Christmas or whatever. I have to look into that a bit more. So I've just left them in their own category. I assume most of the ones that say greetings are Christmas, but I don't know. Now here we have a few Easter cards. And then at the back I've got the Christmas and New Year's ones. And again, I've been able to put in my greeting cards as well. And I just love that they fit in there. It looks after them a lot better than having them just piled up. And I can flick through and see easy the covers of them all. So I was so glad that I invested in these albums. I mean, it takes up a fair bit of space. I was thinking, you know, I'm emptying out all these albums and putting them into here, and that will give me so much more space. But no, because I've got to keep the old albums. So, but I will use the bits in them bit by bit. So, such a dilemma, this crafting hobby, I tell you. But I love it. So, that's that one. And then one more left, which is this one. So in this one, I started putting my buildings that didn't necessarily pertain to the trips that I was showing before that I've kept all together. Now, these are best wishes ones, so it's a bit of a dilemma whether I put them in with the greeting cards and that, or I put them in with the buildings, so they'll probably get changed around a bit. These are from Broken Hill, those ones. Some of these are fascinating because they're you know, there's some antique ones of the town, the main city here in South Australia, and country towns around the place. So I find that quite interesting to look back at. So they're all postcards. So I think that's an Adelaide one, yeah. the main sort of shopping district in Adelaide, Rundle Street. And I think some of these, I think these are more French ones with French writing. Yes, so they're sort of a little separate. And then this is miscellaneous postcards, sort of comedy and stuff that I couldn't fit into the other themes. And these are my ships. I've just got a few of the ships, but I wanted to keep them together. And at the back is landscapes. So that's my postcard collection done, and my old photographs. Now, I did mention, I have mentioned in previous videos that the photo album pocket's also great to store ephemera, other ephemera and die cuts in as well. So I do have a few of these little photo albums, and I did start storing my larger and more intricate die cuts in these. Just protects them nicely, and if you can't get your fingers in, you can always stick a pair of tweezers in to pull them out. I've still got to sort these out more. It's another job I'll have to do sometime. This one's just got a couple in. And then I've got this one, which is mainly ephemera, like die cut ephemera that you buy in the packets. Sometimes I get sent these in Happy Mail and that, so I just sort of try and theme them and put them in here for when I want to use them. And they fit nicely into, I've got a couple of CD racks that I got really cheap off of Marketplace, and they fit nicely into one of the shelves. Now, this is not a photo album, but of a similar vein, it is a CD album. So I use that in a similar way for die cuts as well. This is where I am going to have to sort them out because I've got them in a lot of different areas at the moment. So I've got to figure out what works best for me. But this does work quite well. It keeps the dust off of them all. They're easy to see. And I'm trying to sort of put these into themes bit by bit as I go. So with this one, I've got, I think towards the end, I have a lot more of my tags and shapes and labels and that sort of thing. But as I said, I've got a lot of this sort of thing that I need to sort out as I go. Whether I do that with you or not, I don't know. But I'll show you if I ever think I've got it sorted efficiently. I also showed in a previous Thrifty Thursday that I bought this container from Kmart. I think it was $6. Could have been more, so don't quote me on that. It looks like it should have been more, but it might have been $6. I'll have to go and get some more if it was. So what I decided to put in here, because they fit so nicely, are my cigarette cards and other sort of little collector cards. So in the bottom, I noticed that it fit really nicely cigarette card booklets that I've got so far. And I haven't taken the cards out of these because some of them are glued in. And I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do with these, whether I resell the whole book, whether I take pages out and put the pages into journals. I think that would be really cool with these. Whether I hoard them, which I'm doing at the moment, that sort of thing. So they're just sitting in there at the moment. And I've got this plastic slip that has some cigarette cards in as well. So that just fits in there. I'll probably take them out though. So I'll just put that back on where it goes. And then in here I have the loose cigarette cards. Now these came in their series by the looks, so I've left them in their series and left them in plastic bags for now. I'll probably find some neater plastic bags or something to put them in the future. So they fit in there nicely. And then in the top little compartment, I was able to fit just the bits and pieces that I haven't sorted yet. I have this which has different types of collector cards and some cigarette cards. So I'll probably go through that sometime and see if any of them go with the series and put them in there and just sort them out. But otherwise for now they're just sitting in here ready to be sorted out. So now what I'll do is show you the shelf that I am storing all of my albums and my cigarette cards on. Now, I'm not showing a lot of my craft area as such because I intend on doing a tour when I've finished, and as I haven't done one yet, I don't want to show it and then you have to see it again. So, but I will maybe just show you where I'm putting the things that I'm organising during this series. So I hope you enjoyed that. I thought it was a bit of eye candy for you. And a bit of a look into some of the vintage and antique pieces that I have, because I don't really show that sort of thing often. I haven't been making vintage journals as such yet. I hope to do a whole lot in the future. I'm just too busy hoarding the stuff and making other kinds of journals at the moment. And I hope it's given you some ideas about storage. And yeah, pick up those photo albums if you see them, because there's so many uses for them, and it's such a good way to store a lot of the ephemera that we have around in our craft rooms. So jump in on this collaboration if you've got some tidying up to do, because we need every excuse we can get to actually get it done. So that's what I intend on doing. So yeah, I should be on again very soon with another area. I've got a few more bits of ephemera and that I really need to organise, so I'll probably take you along while I do that. So take care of yourselves, be good, and I will see you soon. Bye.